Okay, so in this video we're going to have a look at working with strings, and specifically we're going to be looking at some methods that go along with strings, so we can have strings and we can kind of alter them and manipulate them to do what we want. So let's have a look. So I've already created a project and I've already created a class for us to work in, and the first thing I want to do is just write out a simple piece of code. So I'm going to write out just a little sentence. Maybe I'll just put, I want to put, let's say, this is line 1. Okay, because I want that to appear on my first line. Now I also have, this is line 2, which I want this to appear on my second line of code. Now in most programming language, including Java, if I just put a backward slash and an N in between where the first line is that I want to end and where the second line is that I want to start, so you can see it just there, and if I run that, you will see that it basically, where the backward slash N is, it cuts the line in half and it prints the rest of it on the next line. Okay, so whenever you want to split a line and have an output on multiple lines, you use the backward slash N, which is basically the code for the return carriage. Now just bear in mind when you are doing that, if you were to put a space in it like that, because that kind of, it's easier on the eye, easier for you to read, if you run that, you will see that it is indented in a little bit. Okay, so if you want it to start at the same point on the screen for each line, you need to have it without a space. Okay. Alright, so let's start having a look at some methods that we can work with strings. So I'm going to create a string, and I'm just going to call it test string. So, and I'm going to make it equal to, and we'll just say this is a short string. Okay, don't forget your semicolon. And now I'm going to apply some methods to this string in order for it to make it do some things that are quite useful in Java. We won't go through them all because there are lots of them, but I'll just go through a few of the more common ones that we will probably need for this point in the course. So the first one, I'm going to create a new string, and I'm just going to call it upper string. Okay, and I'm going to make it equal to my test string, and then I'm going to say dot, and I'm going to say 2 upper case, open close brackets and a semicolon. All right, then I'm going to create a second one, and I'm just going to do the exact opposite here. So I'm going to say a string, I'm going to call this lower string, and I'm going to make it equal to test string dot 2 lower case, and then remember, always put a semicolon. The next one I want to do is I want to pick a character, or to be able to say what character is in a position in this array. Okay, so remember, not an array, strings. Remember, strings are referenced a lot like arrays. Okay, that means the first position in a string is position 0. So position 1, if I was to say what is in position 1 in this string, it's the letter H. Okay, if I was to say what's in position 2, it's the I. Okay, just bear that in mind when I'm doing this. So for this one, I'm not going to create a string, I'm going to create a character, a char. Okay, and I'm going to just call it, maybe just call it, what am I going to call it, char string. Okay, and then I'm going to make it equal to, and make it equal to test string, and then this time I'm going to put something in the brackets. I'm going to put the position I want, so I'm just going to put a random position in there, and it's number 6. So in the 6th position I'm going to put it in there. So and let's not forget to actually put the method in there. So char at excuse me. Okay, so it's character at position 6. So when we print this out, it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm expecting it to give me that S. Okay, Next, I'm just going to print out the length of the string. So this is going to be an integer. So I'll call this int and then just put maybe string length for the name of the variable and make that equal to test string dot length. Okay, and then the final one we're going to do is a substring. So this one again is going to be a string because it's going to give me a section from the string. And maybe if I just call this string section and make it equal to test string dot substring, and what I want here is I want the starting character, so maybe I'll do 2 all the way to 8. Okay, so I'll start at character 2 and go all the way to character 8 and print those out. Alright, so now I'm just going to use the system out command to print all of these. So system out, and remember we're not using any speech marks in this one. I'm just going to put the variable name. So the first one was, well, let's print the test string. We might as well, so we can see the original string. And then we can put, the next one was upper string. The next one is lower string. And the next one was char string. And the next one was string length. And then finally we had our string section. We can put string section like that. Okay, now if I run it, we will hopefully see, so I've got the original one that we've already looked at. This is line 1, this is line 2. Then we have, this is a short string, the original way I typed it. Then the same again in uppercase, the same again in lowercase, position S because I asked for position 6. Remember 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the space, 5 for the I, 6 is S. Then we have 23, that is 23 characters long, including spaces. Sorry, not that one, this one. And then finally, the substring, it started at I and ended on the S because that was from character 2 all the way to character 8. Okay, so there are some of the more common string handling methods that we'll come across in Java, at least for this section of the course. We'll probably look at some more later on, but for now, just make sure you can remember them, try some code out, have a mess around with it. Remember, the more you code now, the less you will have to teach yourself when you're doing your internal assessment, which means you can spend more time coding your internal assessment and therefore get a better grade. Okay? All right, I will see you in the next video, which I think we're going to look at if statements. Okay, so I will see you then.